So, if you guys are interested in, what and how it takes to buy distressed commercial industrial property, this is a great example. So, there's a bunch of guys out there talking about doing, buying houses and so much money down, and yeah, you got to have money to make money. There's no doubt. This shit ain't cheap. I'll be the first one to tell you. But the one thing I will tell you is there's very few people doing this. Sorry for the shadow. I'm trying to get out of the way of it. So I'm inside the building now, and because a couple people wanted to see what it looked like inside, and I'll just give you a quick pan. Yeah, there's water everywhere inside because the ceiling, which I've shown in a few other videos, is in pretty bad shape. In fact, there's like 114 square wide open up there. But luckily, there's a tar roof below the rubber that's saving all of the roof up here. All that metal up there is in good shape because of the tar. Okay, now it's been exposed to some water for a while, but it's still in good shape. So anyway, you have to be careful what you're looking for. My main point here is people can do this. I do this because I don't like residential. So that's why I do commercial. I just got done with a huge project we had for 5 years. You're like, well, I don't want to hold shit for 5 years. Well, if you're renting shit out, you do, because you have a nice big building and then you have a bunch of renters, or 3 or 4, but commercial or industrial commercial, hugely different than what you find on the residential side. They don't pay their bill. You lock their shit up until they do, or you kick them out and you sell their shit to get your money back. I mean, okay, it's not quite that easy, but point is, there's a lot less headaches. People that are leasing on a commercial side have generally businesses, and they're trying to work their business to make money, and it's in your building. So guess what? They need to be there to make money. It's a little bit different when it's residential. So that's one thing. That's the first thing. Number two is there are, and you've all driven by them, you just haven't noticed it. There's been a building forever. You've driven by a bunch of times, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, like that one over on the corner. It's been all blocked out. Guess what? Not every city will take the building back. Currently, this building has been left alone for 13 years, empty. Yeah, that's not good for a building. The building's got good bones, and I mean structurally, it's good. Inside sucks, there's mold in some areas that we're not going to go into, but overall, it's a good start. Cheaper than rebuilding 100%. So, that's what you want to look for. And if you can find that, okay, maybe somebody owes a lot of taxes on it, and then you're thinking, well, how the hell can somebody owe a bunch of taxes and the city not own it? Because some cities don't want any part of it. This city specifically wants no part of this. They just wait until somebody buys it 15, 20 years, whatever later, and then they hope to get their money back, which they will. Now, there's also penalties and interest that are incurred. So, there's a little tipping of the scales that you have to verify to make sure you're going to make some dough at the end. But for what we're paying for this versus what it's going to be worth at the end, because I know this market just like you would know your market. Maybe you don't personally know, but if you get into this, you have to find a decent realtor. And I'll tell you the secret for me, realtors and banks are your friends, but you have to find a realtor that you can trust that does residential and light commercial, because commercial realtors, straight commercial, work on a totally different, it's a different world 100%. And there's guys out there that deal with a little bit of commercial. They'll sell mom's store in the corner, or the mom and pop store that was doing this or business, and they'll try helping them sell it. That's still commercial. So if you can find a guy, first off, that can help you find properties, great. You can look for him and call the guy that owns the property, or call the realtor that's there, and it might be in bad shape. Well, you just have to see if there's enough low vacancy rates in the city. Like in this city, there's very low vacancy for industrial space. In other words, they need industrial space. Why hasn't anybody touched this? Because a lot of people don't know how to do this. It's not all that difficult. Ask me questions. I'm here to give you answers, but it's a little bit of a learning experience, but it's kind of like flipping houses. If you flip some houses, one or two, you could do this shit. It's just on a different level. You can, it's like everything else. If you have a good bank and a good realtor, you can find properties to do this with. And we've bought properties. We've bought distressed houses and flipped those. We've bought other distressed buildings. And like I said, the last one, before that, we owned one for 2 years. Yeah, it's not instant and quick, but the only reason we hold on to them as long as we do is because when I buy a property and I put a sign out front, it's for lease, I don't care if it's ready or not. I'm letting everybody know there's going to be space there. And you know what? Somebody's always looking for space. And that's the other thing. You got to figure out what you want or who you want to rent to. So it's all a part of the fun. And trust me, it can be. Right now we're dealing with our local authorities, state authorities, on clearing 2 parts of the site because there's some remediation from nasty crap on the property. Not in the building. The building's clean. But in some of the property, off of the building site, but still in the property in a grassy area, there's some nasty stuff. Well, it's no more than, you have to get them to approve what you're going to do. It gets done. You do that through an environmental specialist. It all sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But the reward, I'm telling you, it's huge. I mean, take your $100 bill and turn it into a $200 bill. That's where we're at here. I mean, that's roughly what we do when we do stuff. Sometimes more, sometimes a lot more. But so anyway, if you got questions or whatever, like the video, follow us, do the whole put the bell on so when I make other stupid videos, you listen, and I'll try keeping up on things. But if you got questions, ask, because that's the best way for me to answer questions instead of me just rambling on. Anyway, Industrial Flipper, you have a good day. Thanks for watching.